部分中華味のちね素敵ペトラちぎれ飛びなさい腕をあー痛い痛い死んじゃうかと思う。
Hello everybody, Megazord here, back at it again to give you all another very exciting video, and for today I'm going to be reviewing ReZero episode 6 called The Girl's Gospel. And if you haven't already done so, you can go ahead and click that card in the corner and check my episode 5 review out if you so happen to miss it or whatever though, and then come back and check this one out. But man, I gotta say, oh okay, we got a little bit of chills and stuff from the last episode. You know, we getting that crazy, we're getting that crazy woman again with them knives, about to, you know, slash up, you know, Subaru up real good though. We got them chills from the last episode, and then going into this episode is all about the big question is, how is Subaru going to try to twist things up just enough to where he's going to try to, you know, avoid that bad, you know, circumstance and try to, you know, reverse the roles and try to see if he can be the one to manage to walk out on top. And then, you know, the unfortunate spoiler for that is, no, he was not successful within this episode though. But it's more so the matter of fact of the things that he actually learned, so that way we can try to figure out, you know, how is he going to advance forward within, you know, what will be the next episode though. But this one, oh shoot, man, oh gosh, there's just quite a bit of stuff to talk about though, and then, you know, my raw impressions as a whole ain't gonna be able to cover all of this stuff. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and dive straight up into this episode review of ReZero Season 2. After Subaru respawns in the sanctuary, he doesn't waste any time getting back to the mansion. Unfortunately, he's unable to avert disaster on this attempt after Elsa and a mob beast show up. Once again, this was an episode where more questions were raised than answered. Let's start with Garfield's abrupt mood swing. Last episode, he was chummy with Subaru and even gave him the stone as a parting gift. But this time around, he wants nothing to do with Subaru. It's been established in previous arcs that Subaru gives off a foul stench of the witch every time he restarts. So maybe Garfield is reacting to that, but we don't know much more about him in general. His relationship with Frederica is also intriguing. From the way he spoke about her the last episode, it seems that they have a difficult relationship. But not only does Frederica seem, you know, ready to cry when she says that she's his older sister, she also says that Garfield is the one who imitates her when she starts, you know, raring for a fight. I think that the truth may be that the siblings love each other very deeply, but the circumstances with the sanctuary mean that they can't necessarily be together. I don't think it's a coincidence that family has been a running theme throughout this entire season. 2 episodes ago, Subaru came to terms with the idea that he'll never see his parents again, and whatever cruel past Amelia is confronting has got to be related to family as well. Rem's subplot within this episode was particularly gut-wrenching, especially after Rem visits her and confirms that they do share the same blood, but is still willing to sacrifice her when push comes to shove because she just doesn't remember how important Rem is to her anymore. I really want all of these families to be reunited and happy again, but I don't think anyone's got a good shot at it, at least within the near future, except for Frederica and Garfield. Speaking about Frederica, it seems like the implications from the last episode that she may be villainous were a red herring, because it turns out that she doesn't know anything about the trap in her stone from episode 2. She's also willing to sacrifice her life to protect Subaru and the others, but there's definitely something suspicious about that stone, which Frederica cannot divulge due to her oath. And we know in the world of ReZero, oaths are like magical contracts, and you know, there are deep consequences for breaking them. So this is why Beatrice has never left the mansion grounds so far in any circumstance for, you know, any reason. And whatever secret Frederica is, harboring has got to be something major. And I have the feeling that it will be a major key to solving the problems in this loop. The other key to progressing is Beatrice, because at the end of the episode, Subaru is definitely not in the mood to do, information scouting, especially, considering the fact that, everyone is dead after all. But for now, he's alive, and so is Beatrice. And the respite will probably not last long because, she can only stay hidden while there are closed doors in the mansion. And in the last episode, if you happen to notice, when Subaru returned to the mansion, every door was open. So whoever their enemy is, it's someone who knows Beatrice's deal. So it's probably in Subaru's best interest for him to learn what he can within that short little scenario and then say, peace out, I'm out. Now, the direction in this episode, especially in a scene towards the end where the action is conveyed through Subaru's fuzzy first-person perspective, was really creative, and it perfectly captures the frantic, chaotic feeling of the story, playing out from there. From him falling through the floor, hitting the ground, then getting, knocked over by a mob beast, just kind of fading in, back and forth, and then, just him kind of like bleeding out and everything else like that, though. And this was a perfect showcase where it was able to show all the terrible things that were happening around and to Subaru while he still wasn't, fully able to make any sense of it quite yet. The scenes involving Frederica's beast form aren't quite as strong in terms of the animation, but her character design in her half-transformed state brings out maximum thirst from anime fans. So overall, the visuals in this episode were great, and keep up the great work, ReZero. Y'all are doing just fine. And that's basically all I have to say about this episode as a whole, though. But man, I gotta say, you know what? Honestly, I really thought that Frederica was gonna be like, one of the a twisted antagonist, like sort of kind of like how Rim was in the past. Like, Rim actually, killed Subaru in one timeline, though, but played the events out just right, and Rim happens to be Subaru's lover or whatever, though. Like the way how she looks at him that way, though. Although Emilia is still best girl, I'll still keep saying that until my anime reviews are done with for the season, though. But I was originally thinking about that with Frederica, though, but you know what? Now we know that Frederica is pretty much a good person. She's just kind of stuck in a little sticky situation with, her oath or whatever, though. So now we can kind of, lay that aside and put that to rest, though. But now it's a matter of fact of how in the world now are they going to be able to beat this woman, because now she was basically camped out there and she was ready to basically strike the second Subaru set his foot back on the mansion. So it doesn't matter whether or not he comes immediately like what he did now, or when in the last episode where he waited a few days and then went back into the mansion, though. So it seems like no matter which way Subaru slices or dices it, he needs to have that backup and needs to be basically prepared for any kind of scenario that woman will basically throw the second he essentially steps foot on that mansion. And I feel like Beatrice is going to be the key vital thing for all of this, because I honestly thought that Beatrice should have been, they should have stayed or stored Rim's body within Beatrice's room. That way, at least for the most part, Rim's going to be protected at least to the last possible moment. I feel like he might possibly do that within the next episode once he has his restart, though. But that's just something like gut feelings about where I think we're basically at in this season, and some of the approaches I feel like Subaru is going to have to wind up taking in order to see if he can get past this loop and then try to advance into the next loop, which we know there's going to be multiple different loops within this first part of their season for at least this first half of the core before we get the second half of the core, which will be later on next year, though. But that's basically all I have to say about this episode, though. But let me know down in the comment section down below, what all did you think about this episode, and what did you think about Frederica in this episode? The way how Garfield had this sort of kind of, personality kind of shift based upon this new loop that we're in for the second loop, I guess I'll call it, though. And yeah, just what all did you think about this episode, though? And what all impacts have it left with you? Now, I will say this. Now, I'm so sorry about, how late this episode review is dropping, because at the time that this review would be dropping, technically, the next episode will be already out by now, and I'll be trying to kind of push to get that review out, though. But I was on vacation the previous week, though, so yeah, I got back, earlier this week, and, it was just taking me a little bit of time to kind of get back into the normal swing of things, be able to record and then edit and, try to get caught up on not just this, but also my Railgun T reviews as well, though. So yeah, so hopefully, this gets out at a somewhat decent time, even though I know it's late now, and then I'll be able to quickly turn around and pull out the next episode review as well though. But that's pretty much it for this episode review, so make sure to go ahead and hit that like button, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and that bell to stay up to date on all things ReZero related for this season though. But make sure to tune in next time for my episode 7 review, which will hopefully come out soon though. So remember y'all, until whatever video I make next, see y'all.
俺世界だろうとレムのことは傷つけさせない。レムどうして助けたベアトリス。